think the Lakers, you've got to keep looking at LA. There's a lot of built-in factors there. LeBron James very much wants him there, have the assets to get this done if they want.
This isn't the first time LeBron James has done this, and to be honest, every time he does do this, he shoots himself in the foot, and he does mitigate his chances of not only winning a championship, but also ruining potential players that will want to play with him in the future. So this is coming from a Laker fan. I'm just being unbiased here, and I thought this was worth pointing out. Before we get to the content, make sure you drop, like, subscribe, and turn on our notifications to help the channel grow. We're on the grind to try to hit 700,000 subscribers. Now that we got all that out of the way, cue the intro. Usually when this happens, we all make bank. PrizePicks is hooking us up for the Super Bowl with a free square from Patrick Mahomes, which means Mahomes just needs one passing yard in order for his square to convert. So all you have to do if you want to join is go to the link in the description down below, download PrizePicks, and use my promo code microphone so they can match up to $100 of your deposit. And once you're done with that, make these picks. Obviously, you should go with the Patrick Mahomes 0.5 passing yards and click more. Once you're done with that, one of my sleepers is going to be Kenneth Gainwell, who has been a monster throughout the playoffs for the Philadelphia Eagles, and he just needs to get higher than 21.5 rush yards. So we're going to click more there, and if Kenneth Gainwell gets more than 21.5 rush yards, you could 3x your money. Now, if you feel really good about this, you could also add Travis Kelce scoring 1 touchdown, and if both of these hit, you 5x your money. I play PrizePicks each and every day, and I post my picks to my story on Instagram, so make sure you're following me there if you want to see my picks on a daily basis. And thank you, PrizePicks, for the sponsor. Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? The moment Kyrie Irving demanded a trade from the Brooklyn Nets, the #1 contender that everyone was expecting Kyrie Irving to get traded to was the Los Angeles Lakers. Not me. I didn't really think they were the top contender, primarily because Brooklyn Nets had a lot of assets that they needed to recoup from the failed James Harden trade. But because I put Kyrie Irving in a Laker jersey on a thumbnail, people think that I was predicting Kyrie Irving to the Lakers. Did you ever hear of the phrase, don't judge a book by its cover? But anywho, in my video, I stated that not only is it unlikely because the Brooklyn Nets needed to recoup tremendous amounts of assets, but also because the Los Angeles Lakers were being very careful with their final 2 future first-round picks. And they didn't want to squander those picks because the moment those picks go away, you lose any ability to make improvements to your team. So the proper opportunity needed to present itself in order for the Los Angeles Lakers to make such a trade. And in this case, my concern was that if the Lakers would make such a trade, it would all be for a short-term rental of Kyrie Irving. With respect to Kyrie, you can't necessarily depend on this young man to consistently make rational decisions or be predictable. We've talked about a guy that's committed to his team on 3 separate occasions and then left all those teams on those occasions.
Are you going to leave us like LeBron left us?
It's a great question. No, I won't leave. I'm not leaving. How can I leave you guys? Shared it with some of my teammates as well as the organization and everyone else in Boston. If you guys will have me back, I plan on re-signing here next year.
I don't have some sort of secret agenda against Kyrie Irving. I'm just telling you what I've seen. I mean, there's multiple instances of Kyrie Irving reaffirming his commitment to the Brooklyn Nets.
When I say I'm here with Kev, I think that it really entails us, managing this franchise together alongside Joe and Sean and just our group of family members that we have in our locker room, in our organization. So it's not just about me and Kev. I don't want to make it just about that. We're cornerstones here, but we have a few other guys that are on contract, and I think we just got to make some moves this offseason and really talk about it and really be intentional about what we're building and have some fun with it, make it enjoyable, and hopefully we get to start from day one just as a squad and as a family, and we just really worry about us. Sometimes I feel like the noise on the external world or outside noise could seep in, and I'm not the type of person to allow that to happen. So as we build together as a squad, I just think we need to be tougher mentally. and just more honest about what we want to accomplish, and just stick to the goal, stick to the mission.
And while I might not have an agenda against Kyrie Irving, which I'm sure most of my viewers don't really believe at this point, it seems like the owner of the Brooklyn Nets had an agenda against the Los Angeles Lakers. As a matter of fact, this agenda was so bad that he had LeBron James tweeting Drake-like tweets. I mean, I've never seen LeBron be this sad. I've never seen a tweet like this from Bron. This man is a couple days away from passing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in most points scored in NBA history, and he's tweeting, "Maybe it's me." Clearly, this is a reaction to the fact that the Lakers couldn't get Kyrie Irving.
Well, definitely disappointed. I can't sit here and say I'm not disappointed on not being able to land such a talent, but someone that I had great chemistry with, and know I got great chemistry with on the floor, that can help you win, championships. In my mind, in my eyes. But my focus has shifted now. My focus has shifted back to where it should be, and that's this club now.
And a lot of Laker fans are upset that this didn't happen. They're essentially trying to burn Rob Pelinka at stake, at least the Twitter equivalent of it. Well, we got a little insight as to what happened, and this is gonna make Laker fans bang their head against the wall. And this isn't to release LeBron James from any blame, because I think this is an even greater example of LeBron James just setting himself up for failure in the future and not playing the long game. But before we get to that, you need to understand, the Lakers offered the Brooklyn Nets a package of Russell Westbrook and 2 first-round picks in 2027 and 2029 for Kyrie Irving in the last 2 days. Sources with knowledge of the discussion said, to which the Nets informed the Lakers that in order to make an offer to get into the Kyrie Irving sweepstakes, they would require all of their young players, such as Austin Reeves and Max Christie, and pick swaps in addition to Westbrook and the 2 first-round picks. The Nets ultimately moved on from a possible Lakers framework to choose Dallas. The one thing that was very head-scratching about this entire situation is the fact that out of all offers that the Brooklyn Nets had on the table for Kyrie Irving, it seems like they chose the worst one. There was a trade from the Phoenix Suns as well, Jay Crowder, Chris Paul, and 1 first-round pick. Lakers were willing to give up Westbrook and 2 future first-round picks, which, by the way, as a Laker fan, I am so thankful that that trade didn't end up going through, mainly because you don't know if Kyrie Irving is just going to be a rental for the Dallas Mavericks, and here's why. According to Mark Stein, Joe Tsai did have an agenda against the Los Angeles Lakers here. The Brooklyn Nets owner Joe Tsai held a presumed objective to trade Kyrie Irving somewhere other than the Lakers, which is his preferred destination. The only way he was willing to trade him to the Lakers was if he was essentially able to gut the Lakers from having any additional depth. This could have destroyed the Los Angeles Lakers. I hope you understand. I mean, Kyrie Irving's left LeBron James before. It wouldn't shock me if in half a season he decided, hey, this isn't for me, and left again. At the same time, it would not shock me at all whatsoever if he decided to leave the Dallas Mavericks in the offseason to pursue a different situation, possibly the Lakers. You guys thought I wasn't gonna Photoshop Kyrie Irving in Lakers uniforms? Yeah, maybe for 2 to 3 months. Wait until the summer comes back around. We're gonna be back at it again. Jokes aside, the number one rule in business is to never be emotional. There are some people that I work with, no, not the guy editing this video, you're a great human. But there are some people that I work with that drive me insane. And my way of dealing with it is understanding that we need to make sure that we can set our differences aside, because the fact that we're working together usually results in a wonderful product for you guys to enjoy. It's a very cardinal rule in business. Never be emotional with your business decision. Don't ever invest money in stocks due to fear of missing out. And the fact that Joe Tsai decided to be emotional with this particular decision doesn't bother me as a Laker fan, because again, I did not want to give up both of our future first round picks just for 4 months of Kyrie Irving, but it is a huge disservice to Kevin Durant, which we are going to make a separate video on the future of Kevin Durant. We have a lot to talk about as a result of this trade. Now, for those of you guys wondering how much the Los Angeles Lakers value those future first round picks, and the fact that they even offered it up is a shock to me. We got an additional report from HP Basketball, which I'm going to be honest, never really heard of this source before, but it doesn't sound like he's really trying to stir a crazy rumor here. It just sounds like something that's obvious. obvious. The Lakers simply would not move those picks, not for Miles Turner and Buddy Hield, not for various assets from Utah, not for various assets from San Antonio, and according to league sources, not in weekend discussions for Kyrie Irving. It seems like we're getting conflicting reports. I mean, I could see a world where sources are trying to leak that the Lakers did offer 2 future first-round picks that could potentially be a blatant lie just to save Rob Pelinka's face and to say, hey,
we did everything we could to get Kyrie Irving. We even offered our 2 future first-round picks, but Joe's side didn't want to accept it.
You guys have to understand, this is a gigantic game of chess. Now that the trade has been done, obviously the Lakers and multiple other teams are going to do whatever it takes to save face. I don't know how much face the Suns are saving by saying, hey, we tried to get ourselves Kyrie Irving by trading Chris Paul. But I'm not necessarily wanting to hold on to these picks because I really am excited for the 2027 and 2029 NBA draft, nor do I have an attachment to these picks because I want to have some sort of future outside of LeBron James. The only reason I want to maintain these picks is I want them to be cashed in for something that makes sense. I don't think trading these future first round picks just to have 4 months of Kyrie Irving ever made sense in my opinion. But as a result of this 48-hour fiasco, LeBron James has done something way worse to his own team. Let me take you back to LeBron James's first year with the Los Angeles Lakers. You guys remember the famous meme team with LeBron James, Lance Stevenson, JaVale McGee, Michael Beasley. Oh yeah, and they also had Lonzo Ball, Josh Hart, Brandon Ingram, and Kyle Kuzma as well. During this time, the Lakers were gunning for one move and one move only. They needed to pull off a trade for Anthony Davis, who was very disgruntled with the New Orleans Pelicans. Originally, this trade was expected to happen at the trade deadline. This trade was so crazy and so dramatic that it resulted in Magic Johnson famously stepping down from his position. You guys remember this interview?
I've been talking to people walking here. We've been talking about next year, and I'm sitting there saying, I'm not going to be here.
Well, when a trade failed to materialize, the New Orleans Pelicans general manager of all the way back then, Dell Demps, ended up getting fired. During this era, LeBron James was once again a little trigger happy with making his wishes known. Bear in mind, a lot of these players that were on the Los Angeles Lakers grew up watching LeBron James. You even had Lonzo Ball saying it was a dream come true to play with his favorite player growing up. So this is a huge moment for all these young stars that are trying to make it work with LeBron, and they've only had about 4 months to try to make things work out with him. LeBron is known for one thing in his career, and that's the fact that he is willing to gut out a team of any assets that they have whatsoever in an effort to get himself an established star. Sometimes it works out wonderfully, like the Andrew Wiggins and Anthony Bennett trade to the Minnesota Timberwolves for Kevin Love, and sometimes it produces mixed results, like this Anthony Davis trade that we're about to talk about. Yes, it netted the Lakers a championship. After that, mixed bag of results. But in this case, all the way back then, LeBron James sent out a tweet that completely shattered his entire team. When he tweeted this, man, where's Shams, Woj, Haynes, and McMenamin at? Question marks. In anticipation for an Anthony Davis trade. None of that happened. No trade was announced. LeBron was stuck with his teammates for the remainder of the season, in a season that saw the Lakers inevitably not make it to the playoffs, which, by the way, in my opinion, this team did have the potential to at the very minimum be an 8th seed. A team with a young Brandon Ingram, Lonzo Ball, some questionable role players, I will admit, but at the very minimum, I thought this team could have been an 8th seed. But due to a lot of distractions off the court and the fact that the Los Angeles Lakers were beginning to get a reputation of being an absolute show in the front office, there were some question marks about whether players wanted to go there. I mean, very shortly after LeBron James sent that tweet, we had this moment that went down in Lakers infamy.
Golden State was 9 for 21 from the field. Previous 4 before that, remember when he was on that ridiculous tear, shot 70.
Imagine being a young Brandon Ingram, who, by the way, still resents LeBron James to this day for the way that he handled that situation, and hearing those chants. I mean, afterwards, Brandon Ingram was even interviewed and asked about how he felt.
Still made free throws. I mean, I've been through and heard worse, way worse things than that in my life. It is what it is.
And the reason I'm bringing all of this up is once again, LeBron James is doing the same thing here. Once again, it appears to be blowing up in his face. Look, I'm gonna be honest, I'm a Laker fan. I will admit the Russell Westbrook era is not what we wanted it to be. It didn't pan out. I even said originally it wouldn't pan out even before he got traded to the Lakers. It just, the spacing wasn't gonna work out. LeBron and Russ's games don't mesh well together in the modern NBA. It just didn't make sense to pursue. There are rumors about LeBron pushing to try to trade for Russell Westbrook over acquiring players like DeMar DeRozan and Buddy Hield, and there are rumors that Rob Pelinka ended up pulling the trigger on it. I honestly think LeBron James did it. I could see LeBron saying, ooh, he's a former MVP. Get him on my team. And then obviously his publicist wanted to change the narrative surrounding LeBron. But in short, obviously, the Russell Westbrook era has made things very sticky for the Lakers. They once again gutted out all their youth and all their promising role players, sent them to the Washington Wizards in return for Russell Westbrook. Year one was horrible, and it seemed like they were scapegoating Frank Vogel for the fact that they weren't able to produce in year one. But year two, once again, produced a bit of a mixed bag. This time the West seems to be a little bit weaker, and the Lakers actually have a chance at making it to the playoff. Problem is, clearly, this team needs a big roster transaction in order for it to happen. So when Kyrie Irving became available once again, LeBron James was asked about how he would feel if the Lakers would trade for Kyrie Irving. And this is what LeBron James had to say.
That's a wild question. You gotta see when y'all get back to LA for a couple of weeks. I don't speak for our front office. And my mindset is to, whatever lineup or whatever group that we have, is to make sure we prepare ourselves the best way we can to go out and win. Obviously, that's the word you use. Question. You talk about a player like this.
The moment Kyrie Irving was announced to be available for the Los Angeles Lakers, LeBron James tweeted this. So clearly, there's no secret here. LeBron wants the Los Angeles Lakers to pursue Kyrie Irving. Funny enough, Kyle Kuzma even replied to this saying this is tampering. And this blew up in the Los Angeles Lakers' face. They didn't end up getting Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving got traded to the Dallas Mavericks. And honestly, I think that was the best team that he could have ended up on, considering that they gave up next to nothing to get him. They didn't have to give up 2 future first-round picks, which happened to be their last remaining first-round picks. It just seemed to make a lot of sense for the Mavericks to do this, and we even made a video explaining why. For the Lakers, I understand why they didn't pursue this. Giving up your last remaining assets to get a player that could leave in free agency will destroy any chance you have of ever winning a championship in the LeBron James era again, unless if they crush it in free agency. But who did this affect? Well, no one else but Russell Westbrook. Why is this a big deal?
We don't want Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook sucks, Mike.
I could already imagine the comments saying that. It's about playing the long game in this instance. It's about understanding that if the Lakers don't get Kyrie Irving, you may have hurt the player that is supposed to be your third star, which I know he's coming off the bench. You might hurt Russell Westbrook's feelings. You might make him feel expendable. To Russ's credit, he handled this with class and grace.
Added pressure coming toward the deadline with just your name circulating?
No, I do not. That's not up to me. Like I said, man, I've known this is a business since I was 18, 19 years old. Since I got in it, my dad taught me that at a young age is when you get into this league, it's a business.
But at the same time, my expectation is, following this season, I wouldn't be shocked if the Lakers potentially wanted to bring Russell Westbrook back, only on a mid-level exception or a much cheaper deal. I think Russell Westbrook would be cool with that at that point. Being able to play at home, coming off of the bench, understanding his role. Maybe you go somewhere else, that could totally happen. But at the very minimum, if you treat him with respect, and you treat him with class, and you treat him the way you're supposed to treat your teammate, that door remains open. It seems like LeBron opted to, and I don't know why he would even say this. You could just go to your front office and say,
hey, you know that Kyrie guy and we won a championship before. If you want to bring him over, I think we can make some magic happen.
If he went about it that way, that's fine. But making this public spectacle on Twitter and even in post-game interviews, which historically LeBron has been so good at post-game interviews, is what is shocking me so much. I mean, for all you know, this is being made before the end of the trade deadline. For all you know, Russell Westbrook gets traded regardless. But in this instance, man, he's already on your team. So at this point, you would assume that LeBron James would do whatever whatever it takes to at least still be cool with Russ. I think he'd be a great player off the bench in the future if there isn't much of a market for him in the summertime, which I think there will be. The Hornets are all over him, to be honest. But at the end of the day, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Do you think LeBron needs to chill out a little bit? Do you think this could affect the Lakers in the future? Because I think they were starting to hit their stride with Russell Westbrook on the roster. I'd like to hear what you have to say. Aside from that, I'm your boy Mike. I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.